Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. And of course, sa atin mga kasama po sa live stream, magandang araw po sa inyo. Can you greet the person beside you ng isang magandang umaga po? Can you do that? Yan. At pwede bang pakihibati mo siya ng advance Happy Valentine's? So as Coach P po opened up last Sunday po, we're setting the theme for the month of February as the month of love. This is the month where we celebrate ang pag-ibig. Sabi nga po, we're very rich po yung atin hong lengguwahe po sa Pilipino dahil may iba't ibang tawag po tayo sa pagmamahal. It's either pagsinta o pag-irog o kung ano man. Katulad ho ng diversity ho ng atin hong tawag po sa rice. Ayan. So, again, Coach Pipo opened up last Sunday with the Greek words for love, and we learned about terms like eros, where it talks about the love that is physical, that is romantic. Ito ho yung, tingnan mo yung katabi mo, diba? Yung attracted ka ba dyan sa katabi mo, diba? Yun ho yung, yun yung kaklase ho ng pag-ibig ho that the Greeks would call eros. In Greek mythology, Eros is the goddess or the god of love. And in Roman mythology, he is called Cupid. Ayan, doon pala nang galing si Cupido, 'di ba? Tingnan mo yung pagpinana ka ni Cupido, 'di ba? May in love ka daw. 'Di ba? Doon ho nang galing po 'yon. And then another form of love in Greek is the word storge. This is the kind of love that we feel for our family members or to our kin. Because we are bonded by blood, nandoon po yung pagmamahal po natin sa isa't isa. Another form of love is what we call agape. This is the highest form of love which is sacrificial. Yun ho yung pagmamahal na pinakita ho ng Panginoong Jesus when He gave up His life for all of us. And another kind of love that Jesus also talks about in the gospel very often is the word called philia, where we get the word phileo, or ito po yung platonic kind of love, which is friendly kind of love. This is the love that we feel towards our friends. Ayan, meron na ba dito may best friend? O may kaibigan ka? Meron naman, di ba? So, ang problema daw ho, di ba, as we go along, or not necessarily problema, but sa atin nung buhay, nung bata ka, sobrang dami mong kaibigan, like maybe 20 plus friends, so you consider friends. Pag tumatanda ka, your circle of friends becomes smaller and smaller. Tama po? Diba? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Depende, di ba? It's sort of a good thing, di ba? Because people remain, yung mga totoong tao sa buhay mo na talagang through thick and thin will be there for you. There was this one gathering po of workers of Crossroad workers, and our senior pastor emeritus, si NT po, shared something about the three kinds of people that God would allow in our lives. Sabi niya, he shared na meron daw tatlong klase ng tao. The first kind of person or people that God would allow to come to your life are the people that God would send us for a season. Meron lang hong panahon po yung mga tao na yun na sinamahan po tayo sa ating journey. Sino ba dito yung best friend mo noong kindergarten ka or elementary ka, best friend mo pa rin ngayon? Ayun, meron dito. Kanina sa first service, meron din po. Di ba? Those are the person who na somehow that stuck to us, through thick and thin. But most of us, or majority of the people, yung mga kaibigan natin noong tayo bata pa, minsan madalas wala na ho sila, hindi na natin sila kasama sa paglalakbay ho natin. We drifted for some reasons. So, sabi nga, yun yung tinatawag ho natin na for some of us, yung totga mo. Alam mo yung totga? Sino ba yung may totga dito? Alam niyo yung totga? The one that got away. Diba? Yung parang lumampas na nakakawala. Diba? Yung this is the season po na palagi yung pinag-uusapan, yung the one that got away. Diba? Yung palagi, sino ba dito naghihintay ng dawan? Ayan, wala. Sino nakakita yung dawan mo? Wala. Hindi. Pag kasama mo yung dawan mo, diba? Tingnan mo, sabi mo sa kanya, you're the one. Next. But again, that's the second type of person, the one whom God gave us for a reason. Meron hong mga tao na binigay ho sa atin ho ng Diyos who taught us lessons in life. The hard way, maybe. Yun yung mga tao na tinuruan ka ng leksyon sa buhay. For good or for bad, we encounter those kind of people. And the third one po is that the people that God gave us for a lifetime. Diba? So, yun yung tingnan mo yung katabi mo. Kung siya yan, di ba? Yung sinabihan mo ng oo, ng matamis mong oo sa harap ng dambana, di ba? Maybe that's the person that God gave you, to be with you for a lifetime. Po? Kaya po, as we celebrate the month of love, we always talk about that kind of love, the philia kind of love, the friendship ho na importante din ho. But our culture today has a very shallow definition of friendship. Masyado hong mababaw at maganda ho na pag-aralan po natin o tingnan po natin sa umaga ho na ito, what does Jesus say when He talks about friendship, when He talks about philia, the philia kind of love. By the way, the opposite of the word philia is the word phobia. Diba? Ayan, tingnan mo yung katabi mo. Ano ibig sabihin ng phobia? The one that, something that you fear. Diba? So yun ho yun, magkabilang spectrum ho yun. Fear and love, they cannot go together. Diba yun ang sabi ho ng Bible? There is no fear in love. Kaya that's why when we talk about philia, about the kind of love that Jesus talks about in the gospel, hindi pwedeng mayroong takot na kasama because fear and love cannot cohabitate. So, let's go to the Gospel of John. This is the part of the Gospel of John kung saan po ito ay tinatawag ho na discourse po ng Panginoong Jesus because after the Last Supper, nagkaroon ho ng mahabang usapan ho ang Panginoong Jesus at ang kanyang mga disciples. He would give instructions to His disciples on how to live their lives kapag katapos niyang mamatay, muling mabuhay at umakyat ho sa langit. Dito ho natin matatagpuan yung bilin po ng Panginoong Jesus that in this world you will have troubles. But be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. And so many other teachings na talaga pong binili niya po sa mga disciples niya, ano yung kailangan ho nilang gawin. And this morning, nais ko pong samahan niyo po ako in chapter 15 of the Gospel of John. Ang sabi ho dito, in verse 1, sabi po ng Panginoong Jesus, I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He removes every branch in me that bears no fruit. Every branch that bears fruit, He prunes to make it bear more fruit. If you have already been cleansed by my word that I have spoken to you, abide in me as I abide in you. Just as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who abide in me and I in them bear much fruit, because apart from me you can do nothing. Whoever does not abide in me is thrown away like a branch and withers. Such branches are gathered, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask for whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. My Father is glorified by this, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in His love. I have said these things to you, so my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be complete. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I do not call you servants any longer, because the servants does not know what the master is doing. But I have called you friends, because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father. You did not choose me, but I chose you. I appointed you to go and bear fruit, fruit that will last, so that the Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. I am giving you this command so that you may love one another. Now, isa ho ito sa mga very central po na bahagi po ng gospel po ni John. Where Jesus talks about loving one another and being friends with one another. So, this morning po, I'd like to to share with us ano ho ibig sabihin ho ng Panginoon when He talks about abiding in Him and being friends with Him. Ano? Because when we talk about love and friendship, sa panahon ho natin, yung medyo ang datingan ho ng love and friendship po sa atin, yung tipong nakakakilig. Diba? Sino ba dito kinikilig pag pinag-uusapan ng love and friendship? Diba? Yung tipong ang akala mo sa love and friendship is just that, diba, pag tiningnan mo isang tao, diba, mabibighani ka sa kanya, diba, kikiligin ka, merong butterflies in your stomach, at lahat ng yun. But when Jesus talks about love and friendship, it runs deeper than that. It runs deeper than the butterflies in our stomach at yung atin hong mga kabaho sa dibdib, yung kumakalabog po yung atin hong dibdib. It's part of the kind of love which is eros, But Jesus is talking about here, about deeper kind of love which is philia and agape. Now, tingnan po natin, ang sabi ho niya, to remain in God's love to bear fruits. Yun ho yung unang gusto kong pag-usapan po natin. When we talk about bearing fruits, sa buhay po natin, we talk about our accomplishments and achievements or the fruits of our labors. Diba? So, when we measure our life, tinitingnan ho natin madalas ang tagumpay ho ng isang tao in terms of, number one, the amount of money that he has in his bank account or investment or whatnot, which is part of our, ng atin hong karera ho sa buhay. Dahil tayo ay nagsusumika para bigyan ho ng magandang kinabukasan ang ating mga mahal po sa buhay. And there's nothing wrong with that. Lahat po tayo ay nangangarap po ng isang mabuting buhay, And our concept of a good life, ng mabuting buhay ay iba-iba po, But God, Jesus, in the gospel would always remind us that the good life is more than just material blessings. Tama po? Last week po, Coach Pipo was talking about everlasting life, which he termed as, or he called it Zoe Ionian, or life to the ages. Yung buhay na magpasawalang hanggan. Now, what do we mean by that? Sabi niya po, di ba, ito ho yung klase ho ng buhay that is beyond the material things that we can accumulate, and more than the things that we can accomplish in our career. Now, there's this man by the name of David Brooks. Sumulat po siya ng mga ilang libro, at isa ho sa kanyang libro na isulat is entitled The Road to Character, in which he talks about two kind of virtues. Dalawang klase daw ho ng virtue ang atin hong pinupursue sa buhay. The first kind of virtue is what he calls the resume virtues. These are the good things that we do, para ho i-advance yung atin hong mga karera ho sa buhay. I-advance ang ating career, i-advance ang ating negosyo, or ano man pong bagay na ginagawa po natin ngayon. This is something about our accomplishments, in our career, in our endeavors. But meron ho isang tinatawag na klase ho ng virtue na ang tawag niya po ay eulogy virtues. Ito ho yung mga bagay ho tungkol ho sa atin that is not written in our resumes, in our biodata, in our curriculum vitae, pero ito po yung pag-uusapan po kapag tayo ho ay nakaburol na. Na kapag tayo ay nakaburol na, people would not talk about na yung tao na ito ay sobrang taas ng sahod at ang daming bonus na natanggap. People would not talk about those things that we accomplished. That he led this project, become the leader of this and that. Maybe some would talk about that, but not all of the people around us will remember those things. But people will remember how we live and how we love the people around us. Gaano kakabuti na tatay, na asawa, na kapatid, na kaibigan. Those are resume virtues. The ones that the people we are leaving behind are going to talk, at our funeral. Now, ang tanong ho, those virtues, resume virtues and funeral virtues are both good. Kailangan ho nating pagtrabahuhan po yung dalawang klase po ng virtues ho na yun. And sometimes, ang problema ho natin, na kakaroon ho tayo ng imbalance, doon ho sa atin hong pag-pursue, In our pursuit of resume virtues, we have forgotten that there is another important virtues in life, which are the ones that people are going to talk about after our death. The one that will going to outlive us. Now, ang tanong ho natin, is that what kind of life are we living? What do we consider fruits? What do we consider, the fruits of our labor? Now, there's this philosopher by the name of Soren Kierkegaard. He talks about a kind of life, that during his life, his lifetime, na applicable pa rin ho hanggang sa panahon ho natin ngayon. And this lifestyle that he calls ay tinawag niya pong aesthetic kind of life. Aesthetic as in, yung kagandahan na panlabas, a superficial kind of life. Ano ibig sabihin niya ho ng superficial kind of life? Sabi niya po, listen to this. Sabi po, this is an excellent way to begin your 20s. The problem with this kind of life only becomes evident a few years down the road if you haven't settled down into one thing. Di ba? Yun ho yung journey ho natin when we are younger in our 20s. Sino ba dito mga 20s? Nasa 20s, ayan. So, it is the period po ng buhay po natin where we are finding our niche in this world, di ba? Doon ho natin tinitingnan saan ba ako magaling? Ano ba yung aking lugar dito sa daigdig na ito? Ano yung mga bagay na pwede kong gawin na magaling ako at makakatulong sa daigdig na ito? That is during our 20s and maybe 30s, And after some time, kapag tumanda ka na, di ba? You will eventually discover who you are, what you can do, and what you can contribute in this world. Pero ang problema, meron ho mga tao that pass their 20s and 30s, pero hindi pa rin alam kung anong gustong gawin sa buhay. Where they are jumping from one pursuit to another. Diba? Parang hindi ko makita ano ba yung kailangan kong gawin? Ano ba yung gusto kong gawin sa buhay? Now, sabi ho ni Soren Kierkegaard, it's a sort of living aesthetic kind of life where, ito pong sabi niya, if you say yes to everything year after year, you end up leading what Soren Kierkegaard lamented as aesthetic kind of life. The person leading the aesthetic life is leading his life as if it were a piece of art, judging it by aesthetic criteria. Is it interesting or dull? Interesting ba o boring yung buhay ko? Diba? Is it pretty or ugly? Is it pleasurable or painful? Diba, yun lang palagi ng sukatan ho natin. Kapag boring na, delipat na ako ng gagawin. Diba? Minsan yun ang problema po natin when we have been subjected to boredom. Diba? Sino ba dito madaling mabore? Yung pag tinignan ho natin, di ba, may ginagawa ka, but after some time, nabobore ka na. Di ba? By the way, because yung attention span ho ng panahon ho natin has become shorter and shorter. Di ba? Sabi nga ho, parang ang attention span natin, parang attention span ng goldfish. 10 seconds na lang. Di ba? Hindi ka makakonsentrate. Ito yung ginagawa mo. Di ba? Nagbabasa ka, sunod merong magtutunog na notification. Diba? Katabi mo kasi cellphone mo. Sino ba dito pag nag-aaral at nagtatrabaho, tinatago nyo cellphone nyo sa malayong o tagong lugar? Wala ho. Ang hirap po, no? Diba? Ang hirap ho ng, yung tipong pag nawala yung cellphone mo sa paningin mo, nanginginig ka. Meron bang ganon? Parang you cannot live without your cellphone. Sabi nga, para na tayong human cyborg. Diba? May kadikit tayo palaging machine sa katawan natin. Diba? Yun ho yung problema ho ng daigdig ho natin ngayon, Naging alipin na ho tayo ng technology instead of us, using technology for our purposes. Diba? Kaya po, yun yung sinasabi niya ho dito, an aesthetic kind of life, Sabi po niya, your Instagram feed will be amazing and everybody will think you're the coolest person ever. That's part of our journey. You tell yourself that relationships really matter to you, scheduling drinks, having lunch, but listen to this. But after you had 20 social encounters in a week, you forget that all those encounters are what all those encounters are supposed to build to. You have thousands of conversations and remember none. Kaya yun po yung sasabi din ni Coach People last week. We have to be intentional about the things that we do. Saan papunta ito? Where does it build to? Diba? Ano yung halaga nitong bagay na ginagawa ko? Or ginagawa ko lang ba ito dahil gusto ko lang? But after some time, ano yung magiging karagdagan nito sa akin or sa ibang tao sa paligid ko? Diba? We have to think about the things that we do. We have to be intentional. Meron bang magandang pinatutunguhan yung ginagawa ko na ito, or wala lang, kasi lang nabobore lang ako, kasi lang it looks interesting, so I have to do it. Diba? I have to try it. Diba? Marami ho tayong mga bagay na pwedeng gawin actually. Diba? Pag tinignan nyo pa lang ho yung mga feed po natin ho sa social media accounts po natin, ang dami yung suggestions ni AI. Diba? Depende kung ano yung mga nilalike mo at ano yung mga matagal mong pinapanood na videos and contents. So nababasa ho tayo ng AI, di ho ba? Kaya before you know it, ang Instagram or Facebook feed mo puro pagkain. Kasi padalas mong nilalike at pinapanood tungkol sa pagkain. Diba? Ang dami mong mga gustong puntahan na restaurant, ang dami mong gustong puntahan na kainan, no? Pero ang tanong, di ba? Ano ba yung ambag nitong mga bagay na ito na gusto kong gawin? By the way, wala akong problema doon sa if you want to, sino ba dito mga foodies? Diba? Yung mahilig kumain. Masarap kumain, di ho ba? Sinungaling kayo kapag di nyo sinabi masarap kumain. Tayo, hiligo natin Pilipino yan, di ba? But pag nagtinan ho natin, okay, we plan this and that, but pag inisip natin mabuti, ano nga ba maidadagdag nito sa akin or sa mga bagay na pinupurso ko sa buhay? Diba? We have confused our needs and wants. Diba? Yun po yung nagiging problema ho natin po sa panahon ho natin ngayon. We have confused ano yung kailangan natin at ano yung gusto natin. Diba? There's a big difference between our needs and our wants. Diba? Kaya lang po, yun po yung nangyayari po sa atin if we're living an aesthetic kind of life. Because we wanted our feed, our content to be, di ba, maganda, to be aesthetic, sabi nga nila. Di ba, maraming magla-like, maraming mag-heart, no? Pero at the end of the day, pag inisip natin ng malalim, para saan nga ba yung mga bagay na yun? Bakit ko ginawa yung mga bagay na to? Why did I spend my time, going to that place or doing that thing? Di ba? Kaya ang punto ho, kung merong karagdagan na ibinibigay sa iyo yan, di ba, sa buhay mo yung mga bagay na ginagawa mo, then go for it. Pero kapag nakita ho natin na, teka lang, parang walang nadadagdag, parang parang wala lang, gusto ko lang gawin kasi na-bore lang ako. No, baka gusto natin pag-isipan. Ano ba yung dinadagdag ng mga bagay ho na yan sa buhay po natin? No? Because otherwise, we're wasting our time. Sabi po, the problem is that the person in the aesthetic phase sees life as possibilities to be experienced, not projects to be fulfilled or ideals to be lived out. He will hover above everything but never land. Diba? Ang dami mong gustong gawin pero wala ka ma-pinpoint ano ba talagang gusto mong gawin. In the aesthetic way of life, each individual day is fun, but it doesn't seem to add up to anything. Diba, yun po, saan papunta? Diba? Ano yung pinatutunguhan ng lahat ng ginagawa ho natin? No? So that's why Jesus was telling us, the kind of life that I want you to discover and live is the full life, the life that is filled with meaning. No? And life that is filled with meaning is not necessarily a comfortable life. No? Sino ho ba dito maraming problema? Maraming challenge. Diba? Whether sa opisina mo, sa pamilya mo, diba? O kung saan ka man naroon. Diba? Ito yung mga paraan ho ng buhay, minsan ng Diyos, na binibigay ho sa atin so that we will feel that we are alive. Diba? So that we will feel that yung buhay ho, that we have vitality, that we have this sense of purpose every day na gumigising ho tayo. Meron tayong dahilan para magsumikap sa buhay. No? Pag-isipin ho ninyo, pag tinanggal nyo lahat ng responsibilidad, na pasan-pasan mo ngayon, masarap ba buhay? Maybe for a month, maybe for several months, no? But still, after some time, we will find it empty. We will find for the meaning, ano ba yung kailangan kong gawin? No? Ano ba yung nagpapabuhay sa akin? No? Yun po Life in this kind of lifestyle, in aesthetic kind of lifestyle, may seem beautiful outside, but inside, di ba, ano nangyayari ho sa atin? Now, ang tanong po natin ngayon is, how do we abide? Sabi ho ng Panginoong Jesus, if you want to be fruitful, if you want to bear fruits, yung atin ho mga buhay, to live an abundant life, a full life, we have to abide in Him. We have to make our home in Him. No? Yun po yung ibig niya sabihin. But the question is, how do we abide? Diba? How do we abide in God in spite of the busyness of life? No, na sa dami-dami mong iniisip na problema, Lord, 'di ba? Nandiyan ka pa ba? Paano ko mararanasan yung presensya mo? Paano ko mararanasan yung kabutihan mo? Ang dami-dami ko nga kinakaharap na responsibilidad sa buhay, 'di ba? Ang dami-dami kong kailangan gawin. 'Di ba? Anong abide yung sinasabi mo? But again, yun ho yung sa buhay po natin, 'di ba? Madalas po kapag yung isang bagay po ay nakasanayan na po natin, no? Nawawala na ho yung delight po. Sino ho ba dito yung kapag meron kang isang bagay na sinimulan, di ba? Sa umpisa, siyempre, excited ka. Di ba? But along the way, habang tumatagal ang panahon, na yun at yun ang ginagawa mo, araw-araw na ginawa ng Diyos, parang nawawalan ka ng gana or parang you just go with the motion. Diba? Sige, ito kasi yung nakasanayan ko na so gawin ko na lang. Nagiging parang obligasyon na lang siya. Diba? Nagiging para po siyang, diba, na mabigat na po sa atin hong puso. Diba? Because along the way, kapag hindi ho natin palagi ang ating puso ay dinikit po doon ho sa sinasabi ho ng Diyos to abide in Him, diba? Nagiging monotonous ho ang lahat at nagiging dry. Diba? Sino ho nakaranas ho nun? Diba? Na parang ano ba itong ginagawa ko? Diba? Araw na araw na lang na ginawa ng Diyos, ito na lang din, parang walang nangyayari. Diba? And most of the time, we encounter that in our relationships. Diba? Sino ho dito? Tanong lang po, mga mag-asawa, mag-partner, magkasama na ng mahigit 20 years. 20 years, ayan. Meron na mga 20 years and up na mga mag-asawa at mag-partner or whatnot. Diba? Kinikilig pa ba kayo? Diba? Yun yung tanong kinikilig ka pa ba? Hindi, pero kidding aside, minsan yung problema po ng relationship, kapag tumatagal na ho, nagiging obligasyon na ho yung atin ho mga ginagawa sa isa't isa. Which is, somehow, it's true, na tungkulin ho natin sa isa't isa, yung paglingkuran yung isa't isa. But, minsan ho, ang nakakalimutan po natin, yung delight. Bakit ho ginagawa yung bagay na yan para sa mahal ko sa buhay? Diba? Kaya tinanong ko yung mga mag-asawa, kinikilig pa ba kayo? Diba? Masaya ka pa ba kapag pinaglilingkuran mo yung asawa mo? Diba? Sa Pastor Gary Chapman, diba? Tunaan niyo po yung languages of love. Diba? And one of the languages of love na kinoin po ni Pastor Gary Chapman is the language of service. Sino ba yung love mo? Service. Diba? Yung gusto mo, pinaglilingkuran yung asawa mo, yung mahal mo sa buhay. Diba? Iba naman, quality time, di ba? Palagi pag magkasama, dapat maayos yung pagsasama nila meron silang ginagawa na nakakaband sila na mabuti. Yung iba naman, physical touch. Gusto niyayakap, di ba? Hinahalikan. Yung iba naman, di ba? Giving of gifts, di ba? Yung nagbibigay sila ng regalo. Mga ganyan. Those are languages of love. But over time, yung mga bagay po na ito, nakakalimutan po natin. No? Yung mga bagay po na dati po ay kinagigiliwan po nating gawin, nagiging obligasyon na at nagiging dry na ho. Di ba? Parang ito na naman, gagawin ko na naman to. Kasi siyempre, pag di ko ito ginawa, mag-aaway kami ni Mrs. Pag nakalimutan ko yung anniversary namin. Di ba? O Mansari. Sino nagsa-celebrate ng Mansari dito? Di ba? Yung tipong pag nakalimutan, World War III yan. World War III. But anyway, so sino po dito nakapanood o natatandaan po ninyo yung pelikulang Fiddler on the Roof? Fiddler on the Roof? Yan, it's a very beautiful film about the life of a Jewish family. At meron hong isang eksena ho dito sa pelikula ho na ito, na yung mag-asawa o si TV, yung lalaki, asawa niya o si Golda, nag-usap po sila habang sila ho ay nasa bahay ho nila. They are 25 years na magkasama na ho. At yung lalaki ho, tinanong ho yung asawa niyang babae. Tingin yung babae na sino dito? Tinanong niyo yung misis niyo na mahal mo ba siya? So, ang sagot ng misis mo, anong klaseng tanong yan? Diba? Yung parang tipong, 25 years na tayo magkasama, pinagluluto kita, pinaglalaba kita. Diba? Yun ba yung hindi mahal? Naks. Mga ganun mga ganung linyahan. Parang linyahan ng mga nanay sa bahay, di ba? Kapag ako nawala sa bahay na to, di ba? Kawawa kayong lahat. Di ba? Sino yung mga ganyan? Yung mga narinig, kasi nanay ko yun eh, di ba? Pag hindi ka tumutulong sa bahay, di ba? Ako na lang na ako. Di ba? Yun yung mga linyahan ng mga nanay. Di ba? Kawawa kayo. Di ba? Yung bahay na to, madumi, magulo. Di ba? So yun po, minsan, yung mga bagay na ginagawa ho natin, nagiging obligasyon na. Di ba? And in relationship, in marriage, or in friendship, minsan nagiging ganun din po tayo. Di ba? Ang tingin na lang ho natin sa isa't isa, obligasyon. Ang tingin na lang ho natin sa isa't isa, isang task na dapat na i-accomplish, na i-check doon sa box ho natin. Panoorin po natin yung eksena ho na ito, Do you love me? Sabi ho, for 25 years, pag tinignan ho natin, si Golden nakafocus po doon sa kanyang duty as wife, as housewife. Nakalimutan niya, meron pala akong partner. That sometimes, minsan ganun ho yung nagiging focus po natin. Nandoon na lang tayo sa trabaho natin, di ba? Nandoon tayo sa obligasyon ho natin until we're confronted with the question, do you love me? Di ba? We're confronted with the question, why are you doing these things? Bakit mo ginagawa yung mga bagay na ito? Is it out of love or is it out of obligation? Sabi po, this is from Scott Soul in his book, Befriend. Sabi niya, anyone who understands love can see how the wife in this scene is missing the point. For love is complete, love is at most healthy place when the duties of love are driven by the delights of love. Diba? Yun ho yung naging problema ho natin. Nawawala ho yung delights of love, na-focus ho tayo sa duties of love. Now, hindi ko sinasabing mali po yung duties of love po natin, di ba? Yun yung pang-araw-araw na ginagawa po natin. Yun ho yung importante, the daily grind. Po? Pero huwag ho natin kalimutan that the duties of love is also balanced by the delight of love. Di ba? Masaya ka pa ba doon sa ginagawa mo? Or minsan, nagiging focus na lang ho tayo doon sa task. Sometimes, because of the daily duties of love, we have forgotten to experience the delight of love. It can happen to us in our relationship to God, that we thought we are driven by love's delight only to find out that we are driven with the dryness of duties. Diba? Yun po yung sinasabi ho ng Panginoong Jesus sa kanyang mga disciple. If you want to bear fruit, you must learn how to revisit the delight of your love. Diba? Hindi yung puro trabaho. Diba? Importante ho ang magtrabaho, diba? Because we have bills to pay, we have kids to send to school, and all those obligations in life. But never forget, the delight of love. Never forget the presence of God in which we draw our joy. Yun ho yung kadalasan po na nalilimutan ho natin. Whether it is our relationship with God or our relationship with one another. When we prioritize the duties of love and cease nurturing the delights of love, what used to be our greatest source of companionship becomes our greatest source of loneliness. Diba? Yung kapag trabaho na lang ang pinag-uusapan natin, there's nothing wrong with that. Diba? Sabi nga natin, work and no balls. Diba? But there's that aspect of relationship that should delight our soul. That should enliven us. Now, when we go to the gospel, we can see this delight of duty and delight of love in the life of Martha and Mary. Sila ho ay magkapatid. Ang kapatid nila ay si Lazaro, isa sa mga paboritong tao ng Panginoong Jesus. That every time Jesus would frequent their house para bisitahin po sila, of course, as a good host, they would accommodate Jesus and his party doon ho sa kanila pong bahay. And as a good host, siyempre, kailangan mong maging hospitable. Yun po ay kailangan po sa kultura ng mga Easterner because if you don't accommodate or be hospitable to your guests, hindi ho magandang ugali po yun, especially in our culture. Kaya po, one day, alam ho natin yung storya. Pumunta po ang Panginoong Jesus sa bahay po nila, and Martha, being the good host, naging abala po siya sa kusina. Di ba? Nag-prepare ng pagkain, naglinis ng bahay, inihanda niya ho lahat ng mga kailangan. Sino ho ba dito yon na kapag mayroong bisita, kailangan mong linisin ang buong bahay at ilabas yung mga plato na nakadisplay doon? Diba? Nang ilang taon na hindi mo ginagamit. Pag mayroong bisita, ipapagamit mo yun. Diba? Yung sopa mo, aalisin mo yung sapin. Di ba? Para maupuan ng bisita. Pero pag alis ng bisita, bawal kayo umupo dyan, ha? Masisira yung sofa. Very Pinoy. Di ba? May mga ganun po eh. Now, si Martha was like that. Ano? Talagang inihanda niya yung kanyang buong bahay, kusina. She prepared everything para maging mabuting host. Ngayon yung kapatid niya po, na ina-expect na tutulungan po siya, ang ginawa po, umupo po doon sa paanan ng Panginoong Jesus and listen to His teaching. Now, it was very unconventional during that time for a girl like Mary to sit on the feet of Jesus dahil panglalaki lang yung ganoong trabaho. Diba? The disciples were all males. Bihira po or very unconventional po for a rabbi to have women follower. But Jesus broke that convention. Now, lumapit po si Martha sa Panginoong Jesus. Sabi niya, Lord, patulungin mo naman yung kapatid ko. Diba? Wala akong katulong. Hirap na hirap ako dito. Diba? So sabi ho ng Panginoon sa kanya, di ba sabi, Martha, Martha, tignan mo yung katabi mo, mukha ka ng bruha. Hindi. Sabi ng Panginoon sa kanya, di ba, Martha, Martha, Mary has chosen the better thing. Di ba? Yung mga bagay po na, minsan po, para ho tayong si Martha, we have become too focused on our duty. Nakalimutan ho natin the delight of God's love, the delight of His presence. Now, tingnan po natin. Like the wife in Fiddler on the Roof, Martha is emotionally and relationally impaired because of self-induced performance fatigue. Diba? Yung kumbaga, may ine-expect na role kasi sa akin. Diba? So I have to perform it. Diba? I have to do my obligation, my duty. As she works hard and works alone to serve her and Mary's guests, her frustration and anxiety are palpable. She is busy with much serving. For this, she has often been criticized. But I don't think Jesus was criticizing her for being busy. Sabi ni Scott Soul, maybe hindi naman yun yung purpose ng Panginoong Jesus. Hindi niya siya kinikriticize. But He lovingly admonished her na i-refocus yung kanyang attention. Diba minsan yun ho yung problema ho din natin sa buhay. We're too busy with things that will not matter in the long run. Diba? Yung nakalimutan ho natin palagi sa bread, sinasabi natin, keep the main thing. Ano po yung kasunod? The main thing. Diba? Ang tanongin mo katabi, what is your main thing? Ano yung bagay na importante? Diba? Minsan yun ang problema ho natin, yung priority. What's your priority? Diba? Si Martha, being a good host, ang akala niya yung priority niya is to prepare, di ba, yung kusina, yung bahay, etc. But her sister, Mary, knew the better priority. Sabi po, let's continue. The Greek word Jesus uses for Martha's serving is diakoneo. That's the word, diakoneo. A word that is used positively every place it shows up in the Bible. So it means a servant, where we get the word deacon or elder in our modern English. When Jesus describes Himself, declaring that He came not to be served, but to serve and to give His life as a ransom for many, He uses the word diakoneo. When the Apostle Paul lays out the qualifications for deacons, a role of help and service in the church, this is the word that he uses also. And when he commends Phoebe as a faithful servant in her local church, he calls her a diakonon. So, positibo po yung word po na diakoneo. It means to serve. So hindi ho natin sinasabi na masamang mag-serve. In fact, it is commended in the Bible to be of service. So lest we wrongly dismiss Martha for somehow being untrue to Jesus, we need to give her some credit and grace. Martha is welcoming her guest, practicing the gospel virtue of hospitality. When Jesus addresses her, He says her name twice, Martha, Martha. And then, the repetition of a person's name in a Semitic language was a term for endearment. Hindi siya pinapagalitan ng Panginoong Jesus. He was actually concerned about her. Martha, Martha. Diba? Mukha ka ng bruha. Diba? Yun ho yung sinasabi niya. Parang, sobra ka ng busy. Hindi yan yung dapat mong pagtuunan ng pansin. Diba? Sabi ho, He's not scolding her as if she were some sort of rebel. Martha, Martha is His gesture of compassion and kindness to Martha, and also to us. Sige, palitan ho natin ng pangalan. Instead of Jesus saying, Martha, Martha, imagine ninyo, Jesus saying your name. Sige, sabihin mo ang pangalan mo ng 2 beses. Yan. Sabi ho ng Panginoong Jesus sa iyo, before you try to change the world, you must first let me change you. Martha, Martha, before you try to change the world, you must first let me change you. Diba yun yung sakit ho natin? Sa kagustuhan nating ayusin lahat ng mga bagay ho sa paligid ho natin. Pero ang tanong, are we the right person to do that? Have we allowed God, to change us? Because we cannot give what we don't have. Diba? We cannot give goodness to others if we have not experienced the goodness and the love of God. Kasi yun ho yung kailangan po natin na tingnan po sa buhay ho natin, di ba? Parang in our effort, importante ho yun na magkaroon ho tayo ng pasanin po, to make the wrong things right sa paligid ho natin and everything. Pero unless, yung Diyos ho yung una hong magbago sa puso ho natin, we cannot change anything. We cannot do anything. Sabi ho ng binasa po natin, apart from me, you cannot do anything. Kasi nasabi ng Panginoon kay Martha, di ba? Before you change the world, allow me to change you. Ano pang sinasabi ho niya? Sabi po ng Panginoong Jesus, before you make your mark on others, you must first let me make my mark on you. Before you get busy to make things better, you must first let me make you better. Before you can serve and feed me, you must first let me serve and feed you. We were working on our own strength, yun ho yung naging problema po ni Martha. Hindi po sinasabi ng Panginoong Jesus na masama yung ginawa niya, but she is starting from a wrong start. Sabi po dito, you see, Martha's affliction is not that she is a busybody. Lahat po tayo busy, tama po. Sino dito hindi busy? Halos lahat, Most of us are busy with our schedule, with our work and whatnot, in our obligations and responsibilities. Rather, the affliction of Martha is that she has a busy heart. Diba? Busy yung kanyang puso. She is distracted with much serving, and because of this, her very legitimate, life-giving diaconal service is spoiled. Diba? Tama naman yung intention niya to serve. Pero ang naging problema, diba? Ang gulo ng kalooban niya. She is working from a chaotic center. She is seeking to create order from a cluttered core. Kung pag magulo ang loob, di ba, what do you expect? She is so busy and distracted by secondary things that she has lost touch with the first thing, which is the love that brought her into friendship with Jesus in the first place. Di ba, nakalimutan niya, kaibigan ko pala to. Yung tao na pumunta sa bahay namin. So alam niyo ho yun, ba dito, kapag pumunta kayo sa bahay ng kaibigan nyo, di ba, noong di pa kayo masyadong friend, di pa kayo masyadong close, kumakatok ka, siyempre, naandyan po ba si pwede po bang pumasok, etc. So behave ka lang, prim and proper ka. Pero after some time, kapag medyo close na kayo at talagang madami na kayong pinagsamahan, di ba, minsan di ka na kumakatok, diretso ka, pasok sa pintuan, so diretso ka sa refrigerator. Anong meron? Diba? Sino ba dito yan? May ganun kayong kaibigan. Diba? Ang kapal ng mukha. Diba? Basta-basta pumapasok ng bahay. Alam mo, yung relasyon ninyo, magkaibigan na kayo kasi diba, wala nang masyadong formalities. Diba? So alam mo yung isang kaibigan mo na kahit na anong itsura pa ng bahay mo, kahit anong itsura mo, diba, wala siyang pakialam. Ang pinuntahan niya doon, hindi yung bahay mo, ikaw. Diba, minsan yun yung naging problema ni Martha. Nakalimutan, nga pala, kaibigan ko nga pala ang Panginoong Jesus. So, it would not matter much to him kung maayos ba yung bahay ko o hindi, Pero importante, sino yung pinuntahan niya sa bahay na yun? Diba? Si Martha task-oriented, But Jesus is people-oriented. Diba? Yun ho, we have to strike a balance between that tendency of us. Diba? Sobrang task-oriented, dapat maayos lahat. Diba? Hindi, dapat yung si Jesus naman, hindi wala kang pakialam kung ano yung itsura ng bahay mo. Diba? Alam ko naman yan, magulo. Pero ang importante sa akin, ano yung itsura ng laman ng puso mo? Diba? Are you willing to converse with me, to spend time with me? Yun ho yung kapatid niya, si Mary. Mary, chose the better things, Sabi po, and Jesus longs for us not to lose that love, In the book of Revelations, when the Apostle John wrote this, there were 7 churches po in Asia Minor, and one of the churches there po I think it was the Church of Smyrna, na kung saan po ito po yung sabi ho ng Panginoong Jesus sa church po na yon. Sabi po in Revelation chapter 2, verse 2 to 5, I know your works, your toil. Maayos ka na simbahan, maayos na iglesia, maayos yung iyong paglilingkod. I know you are enduring patiently and bearing up for my name's sake. And you have not grown weary. Hindi ka napagod, nagpapatuloy ka. But I have this against you, that you have abandoned the love you had at first. Remember, therefore, where you have fallen, and repent. Yan, minsan yung nakalimutan natin, yung first love natin. Yan. Yun yung pinaalala ng Panginoong Yesus in this church in the book of Revelation. Maayos ka, ginagawa mo yung trabaho mo. Diba? But you have forgotten your first love. Diba? Ginagawa mo yung obligasyon mo, pero naalala mo ba, para saan mo ginagawa yung mga bagay na yan? In the first place, bakit mo sinimulan yung mga bagay na yan? Diba, yun yung nakalimutan natin. We have become too focused on the on the duties of love. Diba, yung trabaho. Pero ang tanong, nararamdaman mo pa ba yung delight ng first love? Diba yung, sino pa dito nagde-date kayo ni Mrs. kahit na 30 years na kayo magkasama? Wala na. Wala na kayo time for each other. Diba? In a sense, totoo din yung tinatanong ko kanina, yung kinikilig ka pa ba? In a sense, parang, di ba, sinasabi ko, i-date mo naman si Mrs. Hindi, yung mga Mrs. Sige, coach. Hindi, pero sa totoo lang, di ba, yun po We have to balance that. We have to take care of the delight ng atin hong relationship. It's not always about duties. It's important, kasi yun yung araw-araw Araw-araw magsasama kayo. Araw-araw makikita mo yung habit ng partner mo. 'Di ba? Na hindi siya naglalagay ng tama ng pinagbihisan niya sa hamper. 'Di ba? Nagkalat yung medyas niya kung saan-saan at yung sapatos. 'Di ba? That's the dailies of life. But never forget, 'di ba? Bakit ko nga ba minahal yung tao na 'to? Bakit ako na-fall in love sa tao na ito? Bakit ako umoo? Why did I commit my life to this person? Or to this job? Or to this ministry? Kung ano man yung ginagawa natin. That was what Coach Pipo was telling us last week, di ba? Learn to fall in love with the places that God has put you in. Diba? Matutunan nating mahalin. To find delight, doon sa mga bagay na pinaglagyan sa atin ng Diyos, katulad po ni Nehemiah. Malungkot po siya, pero meron siyang pasanin. Sabi Mary, the sister of Martha, ceases her work when Jesus enters the house. This is actually what separates true hospitality from entertaining. There's a world of difference between being hospitable and just merely entertaining. Diba yun yung pagkakamali natin, na akala natin we are being hospitable when we entertain visitors. There's no problem with entertaining visitors. But allow me to share ano yung difference ng dalawa. Sabi when our mindset is to entertain our guests, everything must be tidy and just so. Dapat maayos lahat. But when our aim is hospitality, we will sometimes leave a floor unswept, a pile of dishes uncleaned, and the furnitures unarranged. We shift our focus from preparation time to face time. Diba, yun talaga yun yung kaibigan mo. Na kapag pumunta ka sa bahay ng kaibigan mo, minsan, okay lang yan kahit medyo maraming madumi, magulo, pero ang pinunta mo hindi naman yung lugar Diba, ang pinunta mo yung tao, yung kaibigan mo. It's the same with Jesus, diba, with Martha and Mary. Ang pinunta ko dito, kayo. Hindi ako pumunta dito para, diba, para i-entertain. I am here to spend time with you. Ang tanong, di ba, do we want to spend time with Jesus? Do we want to spend time with Him and abide in Him? Sabi Mary leaves her serving to sit at Jesus' feet because her non-negotiable is not her list of tasks and to-dos. Rather, her non-negotiable is being with Jesus. Among all the things on her plate, among multiple competing options, sitting at Jesus' feet is the one thing that Mary simply not forgo. Sabi po, aim first at delight and you will get duty thrown in. Nakukuha mo rin yun. Diba? Yung duty mo, matatapos mo rin. But aim first at duty and you will get neither. I mean, yung main thing, yung focus, ano yung una mong dapat unahin? Although it doesn't appear this way to Martha, by sitting at the feet of Jesus, Mary actually becomes more productive and more equipped to serve with more energy, endurance, faithfulness, and passion. Diba? Bakit po? We see this in the 12th chapter of John's Gospel where we find the same Mary at Jesus' feet again. But this time, actively serving Him with generosity, worship, and affection, pouring out a pound of perfume that's worth nearly a full year's wages. Diba? Yun ho yung naging bunga po ng pag-spend time po ni Mary at the feet of Jesus. She was able to do the unthinkable. She was able to do the impossible. Diba? Binuhos niya po yung pabango sa paanan ho ng Panginoong Jesus. Diba? That is worth a year's wage. Siyempre, it's the outpouring of our love. No? The delight of it. The delight of giving our all. Of giving our best to God. Diba? Minsan yun nakalimutan ho natin because we have become too focused on the duties. Diba? Nakalimutan po natin. O nga, no? Yung delight. And Mary did not forget about it. No? That's why she was able to delightfully pour yung pabangong kinaiingat-ingatan niya. That's why, when she did that, ang sabi ng Panginoong Jesus, what she did will be accounted in her name when this gospel is preached. Diba, yun ho yung bawi ho ng Diyos. No? It is not yumaman ho si Mary, but she outlived her name. Diba? Nagkaroon po siya ng legacy that outlived her. Diba? Yun ho yung that's the abundant life. Na sinasabi ho ng Panginoong Jesus. No? It is not materially blessed alone, diba? But it is something that will outlive you. Something that will last a lifetime. Now, when we talk about abiding, sa atin pong panahon ho ngayon, it's important for us, sino ho ba dito mahilig ho mag-get away? Get away, yung magbakasyon, di ba? Sabi nga ni Coach Pipo, di ba? Sino na dito, alam na ninyo yung ifa-file ninyong leave for 2025. Kasi nakita nyo na yung mga yung mga holiday, yung mga long weekends, di ba? Sometimes, tama din naman po yun, but sabi niya nga, di ba, importante, dapat aware din tayo sa nangyayari sa paligid ho natin. No, life is a matter of balance. Life is a matter of sensing the season. Is it the season for you to work or is it the season for you to rest? No? May ganung balanse ang buhay. That's why, yung pag-take ho ng bakasyon, ng rest, is not, hindi ho masama. No? Provided that you sense that it is the season for you to take a rest. No? Kaya ang problema naman ho natin if we do that to escape. To escape our responsibilities, to escape yung mga obligasyon ho natin sa buhay at sa trabaho at sa kung saan, doon naman po yung may problema. Diba? But, taking a rest, taking a pause, it's very important. To remain in Him, to abide in Him, to recalibrate our hearts. Para ho, pagbaba po natin at pagbalik natin sa mga trabaho po natin, handa na naman tayong lumaban. Diba? There's that sort of mountaintop experience. In the Bible, there was this period in the life of Jesus where He was transfigured or transformed, di ba? Sa ibabaw ho ng bundok. Nakita ho nung inner circle niya, si John, si James, at si Peter, nagbago po yung anyo ng Panginoong Jesus. They saw the glory of Jesus as He is, together with Moses and Elijah. Di ba? Nakita nila, wow, di ba? Kakaiba to. So that's for a brief moment. So pagkatapos noon, sabi ni Pedro kay Jesus, sabi niya, Lord, dito na lang tayo. Di ba, pagtatayo kita ng bahay, isa sa'yo, isa kay Moses, isa kay Elijah. Kasi, di ba, naranasan ho nila yung glory ng Diyos. Pero sabi ng Panginoong Jesus, no, we have to go down to the demon-possessed valley. Kailangan mong bumaba at harapin yung mga challenges ng buhay mo. Diba? There are periods of mountaintop experience, and there are periods where you have to face your own battles in life. Where you have to face the demons. Diba? Mga demonyo at diablo. Diba? Yun ho eh. That's why this coming Holy Week, sino ho ba dito mga young adults between the ages 20 to 50? Ganyan. Meron ho ba? Mga ages mo, ang age mo 20 to 50. Yan. Alam niyo ho ba, yung edad ho na yun, this is the prime of our life, di ba? Yan ho yung talagang, sino dito, enjoy mo buhay mo ngayon. Di ba? Yung kumbaga, buhay na buhay ka. Di ba? Yung game na game, ang dami mong gustong gawin. Di ba? Yung feeling mo, ito yung gusto mong gawin sa buhay. Di ba? Sabi nga, nung youth tayo, di ba? Marami tayong energy, marami tayong time, pero anong wala sa atin? Pera. Pero pag young adults ka na, di ba, trabaho ka na, siyempre, you have the means. Pero ang problema, kadalasan wala ka ng time, wala kang energy. Pero yun ho yung tanong natin, di ba? Baka meron, hindi mo lang ginagamit ng tama o napaprioritize. Di ba? So that's why this coming April, we will have a young adults camp. Maybe you can spend this time for you to recalibrate. So that after that weekend or that week, handa ka na ulit sumabak, doon sa mga demonyo ng buhay mo. Handa ka na ulit sumabak sa laban ng buhay mo. Diba? We need those time eh. Diba? A time to recuperate, a time to recalibrate and refocus. Diba? Yun po yung abiding and remaining in God. Not for the sake of, diba, us being alone to ourselves, but being connected and refreshed and re-energize so that we can do battles again. So hopefully, if you're interested, meron po tayong booth dyan sa likod. Look for the young adults po sa atin pong registration booth. Now, my second point po for today is this. We have to remain, but also we have to give or lay down one's life for another. Diba? Yun ho yung balance ho ng buhay. We have to go inward, but at the same time, after some time, we have to go outward. Diba? Hindi lang ho tayo na, I feel good, diba? I feel connected with the Lord, but we have to make it practical. Kailangan ho natin ligyan ho ng paa at kamay. Hindi pwedeng, it's me and the Lord, diba? Masaya kami ni Lord, etc. Pero, ang sabi po dito, sa binasa ho natin, allow me to read verses 13 and the following. Sabi po ng Panginoong Jesus, no one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I do not call you servants any longer because the servants does not know what the master is doing. But I have called you friends because I made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father. Now, this is the word friend or philia. In Greek, it's the platonic kind of love. But Jesus went deeper when He talks about friendship here. Pag sinabi ho natin kaibigan, marami ho tayong klaseng pagkakaibigan. Sa panahon ho natin ngayon. Scott Souls talks about different levels of friendship. The first kind of friendship that we are so familiar with is the digital kind of friendship. Digital. Diba? Sino ba dito, marami kayong friends sa inyong social media account, whether it is FB, IG, TikTok, or whatnot. Yung 1,000 pataas. Meron ba dito? Mga 1,000 pataas yung inyong friends. Or kung gusto mo maging digital creator, gagawin mo na lang silang follower. Diba? Ang dami ho nating kaibigan. Because that's kind of digital friendship that we have today. Na kung saan po, hindi nga natin kilala lahat ng mga yan. Diba? Hindi mo nga alam kung totoong tao yung mga yan. Baka bots lang yung mga yan or troll. Diba? Yun po yung panahon ngayon. And digital kind of friendship allows only the best curated version of our life or ourselves. Diba? Kaya pag na-meet ka sa personal, parang hindi ikaw yung nasa picture mo kasi puro filter. Diba? Pag nakipag-eyeball ka, pag nakipag-meet up ka, parang, ikaw ba yun? Saang banda? Diba? That's the kind of digital friendship. Diba? It's the best version of ourselves. Diba? Yung maganda yung kinakain natin, maganda, masarap, maganda yung suot, maganda yung lahat. We curate everything that we post in social media. That's why don't believe everything that we see in social media. Diba? Yun ho yung panahon ho natin ngayon. And then, at the same time, aside from being superficial, there is no sense of accountability. Di ba? Kumbaga, kaya mong sabihin. Anong gusto mong sabihin? Gawa ka ng dummy account. And trigger everyone. Di ba? And after that, bigla ka na lang maglaho. But in real life, you cannot do that. Di ba? You have to be accountable about everything that we say, everything that we do. Yun ho problema ho ng digital world ho natin ngayon. Di ba? Can do anything and not be accountable. But of course, mayroong sense of ano pa rin naman because we have cyber laws, etc. But, by and large, hindi po nagiging accountable ang lahat po sa cyber world. So that's the digital kind of friendship. And then another kind of friendship that Scott Sauls talks about is transactional kind of friendship. Ito yung mga user-friendly kind of friendship. Yung kapag wala na akong pakinabang sa'yo, huyo ka. Diba? We're friends hanggat meron tayong pakinabang sa isa't isa. No? Kaya po, yun ho yung malungkot po na katotohanan in many relationships that we see around us. No? I would not like to talk about politics, but sabi nga ho, in politics there are no permanent friends or enemies. Only permanent interest. But let's not go to that region. Ibang ano na yun. But yun ho yung malungkot, di ho ba? Di ba, ang problema ho natin sa isa't isa, yung naggagamitan ho tayo. But again, we are reminded that we should use things and love people and not the other way around. Kaya lang nangyayari ho sa atin, we use people and love things. Di ba? That's the kind of transaction na nangyayari ho. Kapag mayroon pa akong pakinabang sa'yo, ang bango-bango mo. Pag wala ka na akong pakinabang sa'yo, wala ka na. Di ba? That's a very sad reality ng daigdig ho natin ngayon. That's why every time that I officiate a marriage ceremony, I would always remind po yung couple that marriage is not just a contract. Diba? Yun ho yung contract is very transactional. It's an instrument between two parties na nagkasundo. Diba? Isang kontrata. Pero sabi ko, marriage is beyond contract. Marriage is actually a covenant. Because a contract benefits, but a covenant transforms. Diba? We become better version of ourselves. When we decide to commit our lives to that person in marriage. Diba? Sino ba dito kasama mo yung jowa mo ngayon? Yung misis mo o mister mo, partner mo. And you've been together for the longest time. Diba? And alam ho natin sa sarili ho natin, I have become a better version of myself because of this person. Diba? Can you say that, diba, sa sarili mo na, dahil sa tao na ito, naging better version din ako ng sarili ko, that I have discovered my strength as well as my weaknesses. Diba, yun ho yung purpose po ng pagsasama ho. Yun ho yung purpose po ng marriage. In order for us to be Christ-like. Diba? Hindi ho yung romantic at kilig-kilig. Kasama po yun. Diba? I'm not against that. Diba? Sino ba naman tayo? Tao tayo, siyempre nakakaramdam tayo ng emosyon. But digging deeper, yung pagsasama ho is about being Christ-like. Diba? Yun ho yung purpose ho ng marriage. Because in marriage, you will learn how to forgive. You will learn how to, accept. You will learn how to, lahat po yan, to extend mercy as we receive mercy and forgiveness from God. Kaya ho, yun ho ay isang larawan ho ng pagmamahal po ng Diyos. Marriage is one of the human relationships where the love of God is sobrang ini-exemplify po. Meron, yun ho ang pinakamagandang larawan ho ng pagmamahal ng Diyos sa human relations. Marriage and friendship. Grabe ho, Kaya ho, ito po, whenever we talk about friendship and marriage, palagi ho magkasama. John Gottman, in his book, 7 Principles of Making Marriage Work, he talks about the 4 horsemen of marriage. Parang 4 horsemen of apocalypse lang. Diba? 4 horsemen of marriage. Ibig sabihin, ano yung mga problema na pwedeng umatake sa pagsasama, not only in marriage, but also in friendship. He identified 4 horsemen, but I'd like to share 2 ngayon lang pong araw po na ito. The first horseman po that he talks about is the horseman of complaint. Okay. Sino ho ba dito mahilig magreklamo? Mahilig ba? Mga reklamador. Wala nang umaamin, di ba? meron. Di ba? Pero dito, sino dito yung critical ka? Because there's a world of difference between complaining and criticizing. Okay? Allow me to share. Ito, pakinggan po natin. Ito po yung difference between between complaint and criticism. Sabi po, you will always have some complaint about the person you live with. Yan, tingnan mo katabi mo. Di ba may reklamo ka dyan paminsan-minsan? Paminsan madalas. But there's a world of difference between complaint and criticism. A complaint focuses on a specific behavior. For example, nakakainis ka naman. Di ba? Hindi mo tinapon yung basura kagabi. Di ba usapan natin itatapon mo siya? Pakitapon mo naman ngayon. That's a complaint. No? Bakit po nating alam na complaint niya? Number one, meron ka nararamdaman, naiinis ka. Tungkol saan? Tungkol sa hindi pagtatapon ng basura. Pangatlo, meron kang gustong mangyari. Ano yung gusto mong mangyari? Pakitapon mo naman. So that's a complaint. Meron kang nararamdaman tungkol sa isang bagay at meron kang gustong mangyari. Now, a criticism sounds like this. Ano? Pakinggan po natin. Why are you so forgetful? Palagi ka nang nakakalimot. Di ba? Palagi ka nalang ganyan. Hindi ka na nagbago, wala kang pakialam. That's a criticism. Di ba? Because a complaint is directed to a particular situation, while criticism is directed to the character of the person. And sometimes, we find ourselves doon sa mga sitwasyon na yon without us knowing it. Kaya pag tingnan mo, isipin mo, mami, ano ba ako? Nagko-complain lang ba ako o kinikriticize ko na yung partner ko? Diba? Sometimes we fall into that situation na sobrang, na-focus na ho kasi tayo sa duties of love. Diba? Paminsan-minsan, bisitahin mo rin yung delights ng bakit kayo nagsama, bakit kayo umuo sa isa't isa, bakit ka umuo sa trabaho na yan, bakit ka umuo sa mga bagay na ginagawa mo. Why did you start in the first place? Diba, noong inumpisahan mo yan, excited ka, balikan mo yung bagay na yun. Diba? So that complaint, that criticism, unti-unti ho, maayos ho siya. And then we will appreciate ano yung meron ho tayo. That's why, yun ho yung klase ho ng relationship ho na, di ba, pag naging transactional na lang ho tayo, isipin ho natin, ano makukuha ko sa relasyon na ito? What is in it for me? For me, myself, and I. But of course, sabi ho ng Panginoon, to lay down one's life to one's friend. Ang tanong, yung asawa mo ba, friend mo? Diba, that's why Timothy Keller, one of the late pastor po in New York, he tells something about friendship as the foundation of marriage. Diba, importante ho yun eh. Diba na, magkaibigan pa rin ba yung turingan nyo sa isa't isa? Or pagkasama na lang kayo sa bahay, roommate na lang kayo? Diba? But yun po eh. Sabi po, another kind of friendship that we see in the world today is the one-dimensional friendship. It is based on commonality, di ba? Yung mga common interests, minsan yung common background, di ba? Pag galing ka sa specific social strata, friend tayo, di ba? Hindi tayo makikipagkaibigan sa mga mabababa, sa mga hampas lupa. Gusto mo yung mga ka-level mo, di ba? Pero sa totoo lang, pag tiningnan ho natin ng gospel, Jesus, became friends with every person in different social strata. No? Sa lahat ho ng antas ho ng lipunan, may kaibigan po siya. No? But the problem with our world today, gusto lang ho natin makaibigan yung katulad po natin. But if we look at the gospel, iba-iba ho siya ng klase ho ng tao. He has friends in high places, like the Joseph of Arimathea, like Nicodemus, but he has also the tax collector, the prostitutes, and the lepers. No? Both spectrum of the social class, social strata, kasama po niya. No? Kaya yun ho yung problema ho natin. Last 2 weeks ago, we went to Bacolod and to have a walkabout. At syempre po, doon ho natin makikita po yung the realities of our social structure. Kung ano po yung reality ng Pilipinas. Hindi ko ho ikukwento ang buo, dahil magagalit po kayo kasi ako po nakakapikon ho eh. Di ba? When you study history, mapipikon ho tayo. Sino ba dito mahilig sa history? History ng Pilipinas. Di ba? Pag pinag-aralan mo siya, di ba? At makita mo yung lahat ng mga pangit na nangyari sa bansa ho natin, ano yung pinag-ugatan ng problema ho natin ngayon, mapipikon ka. Di ba? Magiging ano ka, rebelde ka, magre-revolusyon ka. Di ba? And after Bacolod po, together with some Meridian student and teachers, we watched naman po a play called Confrontasyon by PETA. So yung play po na yon is a hypothetical play na pinag-uusap po nila yung mga historical figures natin. Like for example, isa ho sa mga eksena ho sa play ho na yun was a conversation between Emilio Aguinaldo and the widow of Andres Bonifacio, si Oriang. Diba? Alam niyo naman ho yung storya, diba, between Bonifacio and Emilio Aguinaldo. Diba? So, ang tanong doon, what if? Diba? Kumbaga, hypothetical yan. What if kung nag-usap si Emilio Aguinaldo at yung balo ni Andres Bonifacio? Ano kayang sasabihin nila sa isa't isa? Diba? So, marami hong mga, diba, mga problema ho ng Pilipinas ho na makikita ho natin doon nag-ugat. Meron din hong part ho ng play where the former President Ferdinand Marcos and Ninoy Aquino, pinag-usap din nila. What if mag-usap yung dalawa? Ano kayang pag-uusapan nila? Diba? So interesting play. At pag tingnan ho natin, after the play, meron hong talkback. Meron hong mga parang open forum. So the people gave their opinion, what they felt, what they thought about the play, etc. So, siyempre po, ang kadalasan pong sagot is, of course, to vote wisely tungkol sa mga leaders po natin. Which is right, totoo po yun, di ba? Sabi ko nga, tayo ho sa church, we're beyond politics. Di ba? Hindi ho yun yung nakita ho nating sagot. It's one means where we can exercise our, di ba, our aspiration to have a better country. Pero di ba, isa ho sa atin ho din ho tugon ho sa iglesia, di ba, is to be a better individual and affect the place we are placed in. Kung nasaan ka sa trabaho mo, sa eskwelahan mo, o sa negosyo mo. No? Because we can curse the darkness all we can, but nothing will happen. Or we can light a candle. Diba? Yun ho yung pag-asa ho. Kaya ho, it was a beautiful film to reflect on ano nga bang gusto nating mangyari sa bansa ho natin. No? Bakit ko nabanggit yun? Because we're talking about friendship. We're talking about the kind of relationship that exists in our society today. That we see yung atin hong paligid ho ngayon, it's more of a transactional kind of relationship na lang. Gamitan na lang ho tayo ng gamitan. Or one-sided kind of relationship na lang. Diba? Yung kapareho na lang natin yung gusto nating kaibiganin. But if we look at the gospel, hindi ho ganun eh. Jesus became friends with every kind of people. He reached out to different kind of people. No matter what your class is, no matter what your political leaning is, kaibigan ho sila ng Panginoong Jesus. At isa ho yung importante ho, He gave them a common mission. Binigyan niya ho sila ng common na mission. That's why I'd like po to end with this, with this book. Connecta lang po ako. By Timothy Keller. It's about marriage, but it talks about friendship. The book is The Meaning of Marriage by Timothy Keller and his wife, Kathy Keller. Sabi po niya, listen to this, when we come to New Testament, there's a new layer added to our understanding of friendship. Friendship is only possible when there is common vision and passion. Yun daw po yung, hindi lang tayo friends for the sake of, dahil type natin ng isa't isa. Ang importante ho, in friendship, we have that common vision and passion. Meron ba tayong tinitingnan na pareho? Hindi lang tayo nakatingin sa isa't isa that we like each other, we admire each other, but real friendship is having the same vision. Ito yung gusto nating mangyari. Ito yung gusto nating puntahan. Diba? In any kind of relationship, importante yun. Because sa totoo lang, di ba, kahit anong titig ho natin sa isa't isa, makakakita ka ng pangit sa tinititigan mo. But if you look outward, out of yourself, and see that ito yung pwede nating gawin to make this world better, to make our relationship and our, di ba, family better, or kung ano man yung pinapasan ho ninyo, doon nagsisimula ho yung totoong friendship. Think of what it means for all Christians. For believers in Christ, Despite enormous differences in class, temperament, culture, race, sensibility, and personal history, there is an underlying commonality that is more powerful than them all. This is not so much a thread as an indestructible steel cable. Christians have all experienced the grace of God in the gospel of Jesus. We have all had our identity changed at the root of now. So now God's calling and love are more foundational to who we are than any other thing. Na kung meron man ho nagbubuklod ho sa atin, it's not our color, it is not our political leaning, it is not our social or economic background, but it is the grace of the gospel of God and His calling. Yun ho yung common ho sa ating lahat. Tingnan mo yung katabi mo. Diba? Kaya mo lang type yan dahil sa biyaya ng Diyos. No? Kaya mo lang type yan dahil naranasan mo yung pagmamahal ng Diyos. And we also long for the same future, journey to the same horizon, what the Bible calls the new creation. We want to see a world shaped by goodness. That's why ang dekada ho natin is a decade of goodness. We are looking towards that direction. Diba? Unless we don't look in the same direction, wala hong mangyayari ho sa atin. Whether it is in our relationship with our loved ones or in an organization, we have to have that same vision. Paul speaks of the good work God is doing in believers that will be complete at the end of time. We will become our true selves, the person we are created to be, freed from all flaws, imperfections, and weaknesses. Now, what does this mean? It means that any two Christians with nothing else but a common faith in Christ can have a robust friendship. Diba yun ho yung common ho sa atin? Common faith in Christ. Ano ho yung daigdig na gusto ho nating makita? Helping each other on their journey toward a new creation, as well as doing ministry together in the world. How can they do that? How can we do that? They do it through spiritual transparency. What do we mean by that? Christian friends are not only to honestly confess their own sins to each other, but they are to lovingly point out their friend's sins if he or she is blind to them. Diba? Ito ho yung isang klaseng relation that we need. Leonard Sweet talks about 11 indispensable relationships that we can have. Kailangan daw ho natin minsan ng Nathan. Alam niyo si Prophet Nathan? Prophet Nathan was that prophet who said to David, ikaw yung luko-luko na yun. Diba? Who stole the sheep of his neighbor. Kasi diba may ginawang kalokohan si David. Inagaw niya si Bathsheba doon sa asawa niya si Uriah. We need someone who will tell us ano yung kalokohan natin sa buhay para maayos natin ang buhay ho natin. Hindi yung friends, hindi lang tagahimas ho natin yan. Minsan tagasapak ho natin. And Christian friendship is like that. We have to be able to lovingly point out anong problema ho ng isa't isa. In a loving way. Sabi nga, yun ho yung art of telling the truth in love. Mahaba-habang proseso po yan. But we have to strive to be that kind of person. Sabi niya, you should give your Christian friends hunting licenses to confront you if you are failing to live in line with your commitments. Sino ho may ganitong kaibigan? Diba? Yung magsasabi sa'yo, uy, ayusin mo buhay mo ha. Diba? Because if you don't have that kind of friend, diba? Baka hindi friend yung mga kasama mo. Christian friends are to steer one another up, even provoking one another to get them off dead center. Diba yung kapag nawawalan ka na ng purpose, minsan may tagasabi sa'yo, hindi ganyan ang buhay. This is not to happen infrequently, but should happen at a very concrete level every day. Christian friends admit wrongs, offer or ask forgiveness, and take steps to reconcile when one disappoints another. Diba yun ho yung kaibahan ho ng friendship ho, Christian friendship from the worldly friendship that we see. From the user-friendly friendship that we see. From the one-sided or one-dimensional friendship that we see. The other way is spiritual constancy. How do we do that? Christian friends bear each other's burden. They should be there for each other through thick and thin. Sharing their goods and their very lives with each other if there is need. Friends must encourage each other through honor and affirmation. They are to identify and call out one another's gifts, strength, and abilities. They are to build up each other's faith through study and common worship. The picture that the Bible draws of spiritual friendship is remarkable. Christian friendship is not simply about going to concerts together or enjoying the same sporting event. It is the deep oneness that develops as two people journey together toward the same destination, helping one another through the dangers and challenges along the way. We have our weaknesses and our frailties. Lahat po tayo mayroong, di ba, kahinaan po. Tingnan mo yung katabi mo. Di ba? Maraming mga nakikita ka dyan na kahinaan. Pero Christian friendship goes beyond that. Di ba? It addresses our weaknesses and we edify each other. As I end po, I'd like po to show us a video. This is a video of a too unlikely friend in China. No, where one of the friends was blind and the other po wala siyang limb, wala siyang, I think, kamay. No? But together, they can do so much better. No? Alone, wala silang magagawa. Bulag ka, mahirap kang gumawa ng something. Wala kang kamay, mahirap pa rin gumawa ng something na mabuti. But together, they made a difference in their lives and the lives of the people around us, around them. Let's watch the video. Individually, mahirap po silang mag-make ng difference sa paligid po nila. But together, with their weaknesses and all, they made a difference. Same thing with us. Diba? We have our own weaknesses. But with God, with Jesus as our friend, and the person beside you, sa harapan mo at sa likod mo, helping you out, helping us out, now we can make a difference in this world. No, yun po yung paalala po sa atin. That the philia kind of love, that is based on friendship, that is based on sacrifice, yun po yung pinapaalala ho sa atin ho ng Diyos. Hopefully, we evolve into that kind of friendship, that deeper kind of friendship po sa atin ho mga relasyon ho sa buhay ho natin. Whether it is in our married life, in our business, or in our school, or in our office, maranasan po natin po yung tunay po na pagmamahal ng Diyos. And we can extend that to our neighbors. Let's all stand. Tayo pong lahat ay magtapos po sa panalangin. Maraming salamat po, Panginoon. Sa umaga po na ito, we thank you for the gift of friendship that you have given us. A kind of friendship that lays down its life. The kind of friendship that goes beyond one-dimensional friendship, that goes beyond a transactional relationship. Salamat po, Panginoon, aming Ama. Na pinapaalalahanan niyo po kami, Panginoon, na nais po ninyo ng higit po na malalim po na pagkakaibigan po sa amin, na mas malalim po na pakikitungo po sa amin. And at the same time, Panginoon, iniimbitahan niyo po kami to deepen our relationship with one another by loving one another. Because it is a proof of life that we have come from death to life if we love one another. Tulungan niyo po kami, Panginoon, na sa araw-araw po ng aming buhay, ay hindi lamang po namin gawin, Panginoon, because it is out of duty, O Lord. But, Panginoon, ibalik niyo po kami, Panginoon, doon sa unang pag-ibig po namin. The delight of love. Bakit po namin sinimulan yung commitment po na sinimulan po namin? Bakit po namin ginagawa at pinagsusumikapan po yung mga bagay na ginagawa po namin sa buhay? Ipaalala niyo po sa amin, Panginoon, kung bakit po kami nagsimula. At yung kagalakan, Panginoon, ng pagsisimula po na yun, aming Ama. Katulad po, Panginoon, na magkapatid po na si Martha at si Mary, allow us, Panginoon, to focus on the main thing of our lives. Allow us to abide in you so that we will be able to give ourselves away para po, Panginoon, sa mga tao po sa amin ng paligid. We thank you for the opportunities of service. We thank you, Lord, for the opportunities where our lives will matter, Panginoon, sa mga ginagawa po namin sa buhay. Huwag mo pong hayaan, Panginoon, na mawala yung joy sa aming puso sa paggawa po sa mga bagay po na ito. Maraming salamat po, Panginoon, for reminding us of the true kind of friendship that you are offering to us, which is deep, which is self-sacrificial, which is beyond us, O Lord. Salamat po, Panginoon, patuloy po naming tinataas ang bawat pamilya na naririto. Samahan po ninyo sa bawat pangangailangan, aming Ama. Samahan po ninyo, Panginoon, ang bawat mag-asawa. We pray for every relationship to be healed, O Lord. We pray, Panginoon, for the restoration, Panginoon, aming Ama. Whatever is broken in each and every family, in each and every individual, O Lord, tulungan po ninyo ang bawat isa, Panginoon, to find their strength, to find, Panginoon, their joy in your presence, O Lord. Aming Ama, pinapanalangin din po namin ang bawat negosyo, trabaho at pag-aaral that are represented here today. Pagpalain po ninyo, Panginoon. And Lord, we thank you for the life of our senior pastor, si Coach Pipo. Samahan niyo po siya, Panginoon, at ang kanyang sambahayan. Patuloy niyo po silang pagpalain, Panginoon, at gamitin, Panginoon. Give him wisdom as we navigate our time today. Salamat po. We thank you for the elders and the workers, Panginoon, na patuloy pong pumapasan sa gawain. Patuloy lamang po, pagpalain niyo po, patuloy na kalinghain ang bawat isa. And as we part ways, O Lord, we give you back our tithes and love offering, knowing, O Lord, that you are more than enough, that we cannot outgive you, O Lord. Salamat po, Panginoon. Tanggapin po ninyo bilang tanda ng aming pasasalamat at pagsamba. Ito po ang aming panalangin sa makapangyarihan at dakilang pangalan ng Panginoong Jesus. Amen. Amen at amen. Maraming salamat po and God bless.